warpath.afuns.cc has launched a new module, which shows the using ratio of officers in each unit in the whole game, as well as the using ratio of deputy officers. In this video, let's follow the released information to see what is the current using ratio of officers in battle. Note that some officers are not available until after 182 days. We can use T1, T2 to make a difference. Let's take a look at this table. Because at present, only servers that have been open for 182 days will have T2 officers, so the ranking of T2 officers in the leaderboard does not reflect the strength of this officer. In the early days, most people didn't study the officer's configuration in the game too much, and they mainly focused on leveling. We can see that War Machine has a high rate of battle in Liberty Infantry and Sergeant Spanner has a high rate of battle in Liberty Medium Tank. It doesn't mean that this is a standard configuration, but because everyone's initial tutorial is done with them, the overall ratio is raised. Because it is the statistics of all servers, the active players of the old server are definitely not as high as the new server, so many officers with a high proportion are those can be used at the novice stage, or it is easy to get with the gold officer statue. It does not represent the objective strength, but it can give you some guiding significance for the battle. Tank unit, Sergeant Spanner, basically he is the first in the usage rate of all tank units, whether it is medium or heavy tank. On the battlefield, it is often paired with the medium tank, because in the novice stage, unless you pay deliberately, most of the gold officer statue will be spent on Antonina Shevchenko. So by completing the officer mission, you can get the gold officer statue. Sergeant Spanner, Bloody Mary and White Wolf will become officers with relatively high skill levels in the junior and midterm, and naturally have a high probability of appearing. Howitzers unit, Antonina Shevchenko and the Eruptor are standard howitzers units. As an exclusive howitzers officer, it can be said that every skill is not wasted. There will be a new howitzers officer in the near future. I guess it should be a T2 officer, so the attributes should not be too bad. Tank Hunters unit and Infantry unit. These two are not mainstream units on the current battlefield. In the current version, the White Wolf plus Angel of Light is the standard configuration of the infantry unit. Except for the freshly launched Iron Bastion, these two officers are the only infantry officers. Because Tank Hunter is not a mainstream unit, we see that the distribution is very even. The main and deputy officers are rotated among Sergeant Spanner, Percy, War Machine, Bloody Mary, and White Wolf. Air Force, Wings of Glory accounted for the vast majority of appearances. We can see that the deputy officer ranks very high in unplayed ranking. It seems that the overall server Air Force training degree is not very high. At the end, I will show you the current rankings of officer usage rates. War Machine, Percy, Sergeant Spanner, these three I call the story team. They can be used from the beginning, and the skills are also versatile. The way to get the gold officer statue is not difficult. There is no objection to occupying 1 to 3. Thunder. The ranking of the Eruptor and Antonina Shevchenko well reflects the importance of howitzer unit. Golden Pixie is ranked 6th, which also has credit for the plot. As for 7 to 9, they belong to the officers who come out of the midterm chapter tasks. The 10th ranked Wings of Glory is the officer that comes out after login 7 days. To sum up 1 to 10, they are all related to what can be obtained during the initial game development process. Most of the following rankings have something to do with the difficulty of obtaining the gold officer statue. It is not that it is not easy to use, but that the training is not enough. The worst thing is Angel of Light, who is an infantry officer and has been weakened. The battle rate is very low. And it's not that Guardian of Truth is not easy to use, but because it requires paying to awaken. I didn't expect the ranking of Winter Huntsman to be so low. Is it because only after awakening can use its greatest function? I don't know if this ranking is the ranking of the officers in your mind.